So friends, let us start the fifth lecture of nuclear and particle physics, in which we were dealing with the uh, nuclei and its properties. So today we will continue with the same lecture, and we will see here how the nuclear magnetic moment can be defined and how these are related to the different nuclei. The magnetic dipole moment produced by the current loop is given by, already we have discussed this. If we have a center point and that is the nucleus and electrons are revolving around the nucleus, then obviously there will be a current loop. And that is really responsible for the magnetic moment or other things or other parameter related to that nucleus. So that magnetic dipole moment, obviously this magnetic property will be related to the uh, current conducting loop, and after all we will consider that is what is the magnetic dipole moment. Means that if such situation, for example, we have the electron revolving around the nucleus and that is causing the loop, that is the current, and around which there will be the magnetic field, and if external magnetic field is applied, then there will be the interaction between the nuclear magnet as well as the external magnet, and consequently we will have the different parameters which we wish to discuss here. So mu, if we are considering here magnetic dipole moment, then that is equal to I into A, where I is the current and A is the area of the loop in which the electron is revolving around the nucleus. And obviously, if loop has been formed in which the charge is moving, then that will contribute the current. And this mu is equal to I into A. A spinless particle having the charge E revolving in a loop will set a magnetic dipole moment. And if particle revolves with the velocity v in a circular orbit of radius r, then equivalent current I is equal to charge upon time period. Obviously, this time period means 2 pi r, that is the circumference, divided by v. Then obviously that will be equal to the time distance upon v, that is the time. So E upon 2 pi R upon V, and that is EV upon 2 pi R. That is the current value of current. Now we can put the value of current in the above expression to find the exact expression of magnetic dipole moment. So obviously this magnetic dipole moment mu L will be equal to I mu L. Why I am writing? Because this magnetic dipole moment is due to the orbiting electron. That's why L we put as a suffix there. So mu L is equal to I into A, and by putting the value of I and as well as of A means that the area of loop. If R is the radius, then pi R square will be there. So EV upon 2 pi R into pi R square, and hence mu L is equal to EVR upon 2. So orbital angular momentum of the particle is obviously L is equal to mvr. Already you people have read in your lower class. The ratio of magnetic dipole moment to the orbital angular momentum. Try to understand this one. The ratio of magnetic dipole moment to the orbital angular momentum is called the gyromagnetic ratio. That is, this gyromagnetic ratio, gamma, or whatever symbol you are representing for that, that is equal to mu L upon L. That is EVR upon 2, that we have calculated above, divided by MVR, that is E upon 2M. This is known as the gyromagnetic ratio. The relation will also hold for the components of two vectors, that is mu L and small l, along any direction in the direction of magnetic field if z direction of dipole moment we wish to calculate, means that uh, dipole moment of the magnet due to the orbitating electron in the nucleus, as well as the applied magnetic field what has been applied externally. Then, for example, if it has been applied in z direction, then obviously what will be the component of the dipole moment which is existing in that atom or that in the nucleus, so that we can calculate here, and we can write mu L, the z component of it is equal to E by 2m Lz, and that is equal to E upon 2m ml into h cut. Means that all the rules and regulation will be exactly similar as we did in case of atomic physics, where we were considering with the electron orbitating around the nucleus. And similarly, we also deal the situation with the spin of the electron also. So here, all the dealing we are doing uh, for the nucleus. That's why we are considering and we are saying it as the nuclear magnetic moment. But all the rules and all the parameters and all the theory will resemble exactly in the same manner as we did in the earlier case what we discussed in case of atomic physics. So this mu Lz is equal to E h cut upon 2m into ml. And this is the relation for the magnetic dipole moment along the direction of magnetic field due to the orbital motion of electron in an atom. By analogy, same orbital motion may hold for the proton inside the nucleus. Means that the same situation we may consider with the analogy for the another charged particle which is inside the nucleus. For the proton, the mass m is replaced by the mass of the proton, that is mp, and dipole moment of the proton in the nucleus along z direction can be given exactly in the similar manner which we did in the earlier case, especially in case of electron. So that is mu L, the Z component of this proton which is lying in the nucleus, that is equal to E h cut upon 2 mp in place of me, who are m what we were considering earlier, that we are replacing by the mass of neutron proton multiplied by ml. The quantity Eh upon 2 mp forms the natural unit of nuclear magnetic moment, and it is called the nuclear magneton. Means that just we already have discussed that what is the Bohr magneton. Similar here we have the nuclear magneton. One nuclear magneton, one nuclear magneton, that is represented by mu n, that is equal to E h cut upon 2 mp by putting the values of the constant which has been used here, that is E h cut, as well as the mass of proton. Then we have its value 5.0505 into 10 raised to power minus 27 joule per Tesla. So this is the value of the one nuclear magneton. Clearly, the Z component of the magnetic dipole moment resulting from the orbital motion of the proton, it just ml times the nuclear magneton, as we already have discussed in case of orbital motion of the electron, that the that its value, the Z component value is given as the uh, Bohr magneton multiplied by the ml. There in earlier case what we were discussing in case of atomic physics, here we have the same situation, that is ml times the nuclear magneton. Same situation is prevailing here. Maximum value of ml is I. ml is I. Actually, you may write it as mi also, because all the indication in case of nucleus has been represented as I. So this ml or mi have its maximum value, that is I. Therefore, the magnitude of maximum value of mu Lz is given as mu Lz maximum is equal to E h cut upon 2 mp into L. Actually, what we have written in the above bullet point, that is the maximum value of ml is L. Actually, हमने यहाँ पर L ही represent किया है, but in case of nucleus, many times it is represented, or many places it is represented as mi, and its maximum value is I. But they have the same significance and same situation and same resemblance as we did in the earlier case, that is the ml and L in case of atomic physics for the electron. Like electron, proton also is spin about its axis. Proton also spins about the axis. Therefore, it also possesses the magnetic dipole moment due to the spin motion. The magnetic dipole moment due to the spin motion of proton is mu Sz is equal to E h cut upon 2 mp into ms. Exactly the same situation and same expression what we did in case of electron when we were dealing with in the atomic physics for its spin point of view. The similar situation is prevailing for the proton, but the difference is that this proton is inside the nucleus. That's why all the parameters are related to that proton is has been considered inside the nucleus only. Now, where ms can be taken as the value, two values usually as plus half or minus half. The neutron also possesses the magnetic dipole moment due to the spin motion. Due to the spin motion, there is the magnetic dipole moment of the neutron. Total angular momentum of nucleus is the contribution due to the orbital and spin motion. Therefore, the total magnetic dipole moment of a nucleus is the vector sum of magnetic dipole moment due to the orbital and spin motions of the proton due to the spin motions of neutron. Actually, both we have to consider here, because there is not only a single particle, but the neutron is also there. Only the difference between the neutron and proton is that the neutron have no charge at all. That's why the orbital part is lacking there. Only the spin contribution of the neutron is there. That's why you can see here that the spin part of the proton as well as the neutron both has been taken into the consideration. Obviously, when we will write the total expression of mu, then this mu L is equal to GL. At many times it is also written as GI, and mu N into I, where the different parameters have its significance in this way, where GI or GL, whatever you are saying here, is the nuclear G factor, and I is the total angular momentum. And this mu n is known as the, actually you can see the first bullet point that the magnetic dipole moment is conveniently written as this mu is equal to GL mu n I, and the other parameters has been given in the next point, where I is the sum of L and S both. The maximum observable component of mu is known as the magnetic moment of the nucleus and expressed as mu is equal to GL mu n into I. It may be noted that it is the value of the nucleon magnetic moment, which is measured experimentally, is about 1/1000 of the electromagnetic moment. Actually, जो न्यूक्लियन मैग्नेटिक मोमेंट है, ये इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक मोमेंट का 1000वां पार्ट के बराबर होता है. इट implies दैट द इलेक्ट्रॉन कैन नॉट बी द पार्ट ऑफ nuclear constituents because its value is very less. That's why electron have the high value. With that high value, electron cannot possess inside the nucleus. So this was all about what I was interested to discuss with the you can say that the magnetic dipole moment of the nucleus and its constituent part also. Better to have its study in the textbook, because always I used to suggest you people that a teacher and a classroom have the limitation to discuss so many points which are the frontier and exterior of your syllabus, but you don't have the limit for that. Whatever you wish, you can read and you can have your better understanding with the periphery of the subject and syllabi what has been included in your syllabus. Now we will have the next point, that is the electric quadrupole moment. Electric quadrupole moment is what that we have to discuss here. This electric quadrupole moment, it's some sort of the situation when we are departing from the exact spherical shape of a particular nucleus. Usually it has been considered in the very beginning or with the experimental evidences what has been collected by the Rutherford himself, that the nucleus is the spherical in nature. But maybe situation may that the spherical shape may be the deformed situation. They may have some dilated situation. And if such situation is prevailing, then we have to consider the electric quadrupole moment of the nucleus itself. So how that can be considered, I did my own exercise for this one, and I derived the expression. You may get this expression or this particular topic. Maybe that it is not included in your text of what you are reading right now, but from some other book, Irwin and Kaplan book, this particular uh, mm, topic has been included there. And if you will have the book of DC Tayal, then you may have that. And one more book is related to the Yadav and Pandya karke hai. So in that you may also get this particular topic in some detail. So here, although I have collected the sufficient matter to explain and to correlate that how we derive this expression. The electric dipole moment measures the departure of the nucleus from the spherical symmetry. What already I have discussed that in some cases it is not strictly followed that the nucleus have its spherical shape. It may have its departure from the spherical shape. So I think I'm audible to you people now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So usually the nucleus is assumed spherically symmetric. What already we have discussed this one, but it is not always necessary to make this assumption. Strictly, it is not followed. Maybe in such situation, departure is there. Acha, have you read about the dialectic constant? You people have read the dialectic constant?
Yes, sir.
What is dialectic constant? Nilakshi has joined today. I wish to have the answer of this question from Nilakshi. What is dialectic constant? बताओ भाई. नीलाक्षी. अच्छा प्रांजल तुम बताओ. What is the dielectric constant?
Sir, the ratio of सब मटेरियल के परमिटिविटी का रेशियो और वैक्यूम के परमिटिविटी को सर डाइलेक्ट्रिक कांस्टेंट कहते हैं।
अच्छा, ये बताओ कि डाइलेक्ट्रिक मटेरियल क्या होते हैं? कौन से मटेरियल डाइलेक्ट्रिक होंगे?
सर जो नॉन कंडक्टिंग
होंगे यानी इंसुलेटर होंगे।
यस सर।
तो उसमें आपने कई बार ये देखा होगा कि उसमें डाइपोल बन जाते हैं। कई बार आपने देखा इलेक्ट्रिक डाइपोल। तो ये इलेक्ट्रिक डाइपोल कैसे बनते हैं? पोलर डाइलेक्ट्रिक मटेरियल भी आपने सुना होगा, नॉन पोलर डाइलेक्ट्रिक
डाइपोल तो चार्जेस से ही बनते हैं।
तो कैसे बन जाएंगे? आप तो कह रहे हो कि ये इंसुलेटर है, तो कैसे डाइपोल बन रहे हैं? कहां से चार्ज आ रहा? Anybody of you people? Rolly, can you tell me? Rolly, can you tell me? Sapna, are you able to tell me how we are getting the dipoles in case of dielectric materials?
No sir.
No.
No sir.
Priya, can you tell me?
No sir.
Priya, no. Noreen, can you tell me how we are getting the dipoles in case of dielectric materials? And some are polar, some are non-polar. And according to that, we will have the electronic conductivity, ionic conductivity. ये सारे part होते हैं ना उसमें. Then after we have the polarizability, electronic polarizability, ionic polarizability. You might have read these points, na? Noreen? Noreen?
यस सर। सर
Have you
जब
heard
कोई
that?
डाइइलेक्ट्रिक मटेरियल इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड में रहता है तो उसका नेगेटिव चार्ज पॉजिटिव चार्ज के अकॉर्डिंग थोड़ा सा स्लाइटली डिस्प्लेस हो जाता है, इसी वजह से होता है। पर कैसे डाइइलेक्ट्रिक में इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड ट्रैवल कर रही है ये नहीं पता।
अच्छा अच्छा, ठीक है। सुशांत, can you tell me anything else?
No, sir.
Abhay? Abhay, can you tell me how
Sir.
we are getting the dipoles?
Sir, due to polarization.
How polarization takes place? What is polarizing and what the situation is prevailing? Let me know so that I can proceed.
Sir, that actually I don't know.
एक्चुअली ना बेटा, तुम लोग जो है फिजिक्स पढ़ते तो हो, तुम्हारे ही साथ नहीं है, सबके साथ भी होता है, हम लोगों के साथ भी हुआ है कि एक्चुअली वी डोंट रियलाइज द सिचुएशन, वी डोंट रियलाइज द प्रॉब्लम्स. We are in always in hurry that we should have the dialectic constant, application of the dialectic material, but how the situations are prevailing and how the things are occurring, we don't bother about that. That's why this situation is prevailing even at the level of the PG student. You are unable to get the exact essence of the polarization of the dielectric material. So I think this Noreen was very much right actually. When this is placed in the electric field, and this also has been answered by the Abhay ki polarization is, but what polarization is here? Actually, only 2 points are there. And usually in all the atoms of this universe, there is the nucleus which is positively charged. Because of that, the experiment of Rutherford, it has been established fact. And electrons are revolving around the nucleus. And these are balanced with each other. In case of insulating materials, there are no spare electron to participate in the process of conduction. Now then, what is the application of this one? How they polarize actually? Actually, what happened? The electron cloud, which is which are orbitating around the nucleus, that may consider as a collective charge at a one point, and the nucleus is dilated in one direction, and hence the positive and negative charges are displaced slightly from their original position. And means that the equivalent of the electronic charge which is orbitating around the nucleus can be considered as a one focus, and this uh, our positive charge at the nucleus that has been considered the next focus of the ellipse, and hence the situation is dilated, and the distance is there between the positive and negative centers, and hence the dipoles are created. In some cases it is easy to create, and those are known as the polar dielectric material. In some cases it is very difficult, that those are non-polar, or even if the dipoles are created, then they have a preferred directions also. And if their directions are arranged in such a way that they are balancing each other, then they will be again neutral. But if they are oriented in such a way that uh, some dipoles are oriented in a particular direction, then obviously they will contribute something. Then those are in category of the polar. And according to that, their polarizability as electronic polarizability, ionic polarizability, and other factors are also there. Molecular polarizability, there are so many factors related to it. So why I was telling you people here, just the dilation of the nucleus is here in case of the dielectric material. The something is here also, that the nucleus may be dilated. It is not exactly spherical, or the spherical symmetry may be hampered in this situation. And hence we are saying here not necessary that always this assumption is correct. Any nucleus in a stationary state does not possess a dipole moment. देखो जो बात मैं बता रहा था आपको, because the center of the charge and the center of the mass can be assumed to be coincide with one another. The electric dipole quadrupole moment of a nucleus is calculated as follows from the classical consideration. Let us consider the charge is not situated at the center of the nucleus. That is, that has been departed from its spherical symmetry, but it is located at P dash, having the rectangular coordinates x, y, z. बेटा एक चीज और आपको बता दें, अभी इसी लगे हाथ, आपने कार्टेशियन कोऑर्डिनेट पढ़ा होगा, आपने स्फेरिकल कोऑर्डिनेट पढ़ा होगा, आपने स्फेरिकल पोलर कोऑर्डिनेट पढ़ा होगा, सिलिंड्रिकल कोऑर्डिनेट पढ़ा होगा. ये सारे कोऑर्डिनेट्स आपने पढ़े हुए हैं अपने लोअर क्लासेस में. एक्चुअली जब आप स्फेरिकल पोलर कोऑर्डिनेट पढ़ेंगे, तभी आपको 3 डायमेंशनल पिक्चर की या 3 डायमेंशनल प्रॉब्लम की एग्जैक्ट सिचुएशन पता चलेगी कि how the projection of this one is here, which one is the plane, which one gives the solid angle, which one have the 3-dimensional essence of the projection. So all these things, it's very important to understand. Otherwise, only one option will be with you people, that you have to learn the problems as such. As such, you have to learn the problem, not to understand the problem. So those are actually tools. And if you are not clear about the tools, then you cannot handle the problems. That's why nothing has been lost up to this time. You may start your study at this stage also, क्योंकि सीखने की कोई stage नहीं होती है. And forget it that you are the student of PG, you are the student of PhD. If you are not clear about anything, then please try to understand that, try to analyze that, try to digest that. क्योंकि कहते हैं कि जब जो है कोई चीज वास्तव में आपको आत्मसात करना है, तो chewed and digested, यानी उसको चबाइए और उसको हजम कर जाइए, तब तो सिचुएशन बनती है. Otherwise, sometimes what happen, we used to swallow the things, and whenever we get the chance, we omit all the things there as such. So that is a usual kind of things. So whatever you are reading, try to digest the things, what you are studying, what you are analyzing, what you are trying to understand. Anyway, so this situation is prevailing here. Situation is what? We have departed from the spherical shape. Means that our charge is not situated at the center O. Rather, it is at the point P dash, which has been given as plus E charge. And again, you will have the spherical polar coordinate here, or three-dimensional coordinate here, X direction, Y direction, Z direction, all those things here. So you may have this particular picture, and if you will have the idea for the spherical coordinate, then it will be very easy to understand this one. तो इसमें क्या किया गया कि प्लस ई चार्ज जो है वो डिपार्ट है ओ से कहीं स्पेस में किसी एक दूसरे प्लेन में है, जो जेड की डायरेक्शन में भी है और वाई की डायरेक्शन में भी है और एक्स की भी डायरेक्शन में है. तो आप देखिए एक्स वाई जेड तीनों कोऑर्डिनेट हैं. हालांकि इन्होंने जो कोऑर्डिनेट लिखा हुआ है वो थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ कर दिया है. ऊपर वाला जेड नहीं होना चाहिए, ऊपर वाला वाई होना चाहिए और सामने वाला जेड होना चाहिए, जहां पर हमने हाथ से पी लिखा हुआ है. उस समय हमने भी ध्यान नहीं दिया, क्योंकि आप जब देखोगे इसमें तो जेड पैरेलल है जो वाई लिखा हुआ है इस डायरेक्शन में. तो ये तभी हो सकता है जब जेड इस डायरेक्शन में हो, और जो वर्टिकल डिस्टेंस है वो जेड है जो वाई से इन्होंने रिप्रेजेंट करा. क्योंकि जिन्होंने ये फिगर बनाया है, जिन्होंने लिखा होगा, शायद वो भी बहुत अच्छे से समझे नहीं होंगे, या फिगर बनाने वाले ने कुछ गड़बड़ कर दिया होगा. तो इसको हमने रिपेयर करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन हमें फिगर को फिर से बनाना पड़ता, इसलिए जो है मैंने सोचा कि आपको उसी समय बता दूंगा. द पोटेंशियल एट द पॉइंट पी पॉइंट पर हम पोटेंशियल निकालना चाहते हैं जो वाई एक्सिस पर है. हालांकि वो जेड एक्सिस है, इसलिए होना उसे जेड एक्सिस चाहिए, लेकिन अब चूंकि वाई एक्सिस के अलांग था इसलिए मैंने इसको वाई लिख दिया है. और कल मैं पढ़ रहा था इसको तो जेड ही लिखा था ये यहाँ पर हमने, लेकिन अब चूंकि इससे रिजेंबल नहीं कर रहा था इसलिए आपको कंफ्यूजन ना हो, इसलिए मैंने वाई एक्सिस लिख दिया. जब आप फिगर बनाइएगा तो ऊपर वाले को वाई कर दीजिएगा और साइड वाले को जेड कर दीजिएगा, और यहाँ पर जेड एक्सिस कर लीजिएगा. ड्यू द चार्ज इज फाई इज इक्वल टू 1/4 पाई एप्सिलॉन 0 ई अपॉन A1. ये पोटेंशियल है at the point P. ये हम the potential at the point P on the y-axis due to this charge is equal to 1/4 pi epsilon 0 E upon A1. A1 डिस्टेंस देखो P डैश से P की डिस्टेंस, जहां पर प्लस E चार्ज रखा हुआ है वहां से Y पॉइंट की डिस्टेंस. Where A1 now this can be understood only if we are knowing the spherical coordinate, spherical polar coordinate. That is A1 is equal to A square plus A square plus R square minus 2AR cos alpha whole to the power half, and R is the distance. R is the distance of the charge from the origin and can be. देखो यहाँ थोड़ा गड़बड़ लिख गया था, इसको मैं सही कर लेना चाहिए था मुझे आपके पास आने के पहले, लेकिन मैं किया नहीं. ये होगा हमारा R, लेकिन R की जगह पे हमें इंसर्ट करना पड़ेगा मैथमेटिकल फार्मूला, and here we will go to this one, and here we will write this one, and here we will write, oh, need not to write it, only R, because already I have taken the root at other side. So this one we will be this one. And let us save, and again we will start from the presentation mode. Better to have our presentation mode from here. Okay, so this r is equal to root of x square plus y square plus z square, and this cos alpha is equal to z upon r defines the angle between A and R. Now the equation of the potential can be given, only we put the value of A1 and we get this value. And this phi is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 E upon A within bracket. We have taken this one. Now we can expand it as 1 minus x whole to the power minus half. And that already we have read in the lower classes key 1 minus x to the power minus half have this expression in this way. Similarly, we have expanded this one. So these are the mathematical task and mathematical manipulation you are very well to do with this one, and you can do only we did it mathematically, and finally we write it as phi is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, and this is a series, and that series can be written as n is equal to 0 to infinity e r to the power n a to the power n plus 1, and there is a function that is the Legendre polynomial, that is Pn cos x, where P and cos x are the Legendre polynomial and n is the multiple order. N is the multiple order of the same. In equation 4, the coefficient of 1 upon A, 1 upon A, 1 upon A का क्या कोफिशियंट है? क्यों? क्योंकि अगर आप देखें A की जो डिस्टेंस है वो आपके डिपार्चर को शो कर रही है सेंटर पॉइंट से. तो in case of equation 4, if we will see it, then the coefficient of 1 upon A is known as the monopole strength. The coefficient of 1 upon A square is the z component of the dipole moment. The component of 1 upon A3 is the z component of the quadrupole moment. The coefficient of 1 upon A to the power 4, ये repeat किया गया यहाँ पर, is known as the octopole moment, etc. The first term is the, in the above expression, is the ordinary Coulomb's potential. Thus, the nucleus possesses a net electric quadrupole moment given by Q is equal to E R square within bracket 3/2 cos square alpha minus half. यानी जो क्वाड्रपोल मोमेंट के लिए आपने देखा होगा कि 1 अपान ए क्यूब का जो कोफिशिएंट है उसी को कलेक्ट किया गया है यहाँ पर, एंड यू विल सी हियर व्हाट इज द कोफिशिएंट ऑफ दिस वन, ई अपान ई आर स्क्वायर. देखो तीसरा टर्म आप इसमें देखो, ई अपान आर क्यूब ए क्यूब इंटू आर स्क्वायर मल्टीप्लाइड बाई 3/2 cos स्क्वायर अल्फा minus 1 upon 2. So this coefficient we have taken here, that is ER square 3/2 cos square alpha minus half, and this is equal to ER square upon 2 within bracket 3 cos square alpha minus 1. Putting cos alpha is equal to Z upon R, because already we have calculated this value. Then Q is equal to E upon 2 within bracket 3 Z square minus R square. Let us have some discussion related to this. According to this expression, if anyhow we are considering that R is equal to Z अगर कर लिया जाए तो क्या होगा? इसका मतलब कि आपका क्वाड्रपोल मोमेंट 0 हो जाएगा. अर्थ क्या हुआ कि कोई मोमेंट नहीं हुआ, कोई डाइपोल मोमेंट, क्वाड्रपोल मोमेंट नहीं हुआ. क्यों? क्योंकि R जब Z से कोइंसाइड करेगा तो इसका मतलब चार्ज सेंटर पे आ गया, सेंटर से डिपार्ट नहीं किया, तो स्फेरिकल शेप में किसी भी तरीके का डिफॉर्मेशन नहीं हुआ. ऐसे ही और भी डिस्कशंस हैं. द क्वाड्रपोल मोमेंट इज 0 if the charges are evenly placed अबाउट ऑल थ्री डायरेक्शन। अब आप देखो कि अगर हम चारों तरफ एग्जैक्टली जेट के चारों तरफ हम सेम तरीके से इसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड माने, तो देखो एक्स डायरेक्शन में भी जेड हुआ, वाई डायरेक्शन में भी जेड हुआ और जेड डायरेक्शन में भी जेड हुआ। तो आप देखो आर स्क्वायर है, तो एक्स डायरेक्शन में अगर हम कहें कि जेड है तो माइनस एक्स स्क्वायर माइनस जेड स्क्वायर, वाई डायरेक्शन में माइनस जेड स्क्वायर और तीसरे में जेड डायरेक्शन में माइनस जेड, तीनों जोड़ेंगे तो 3z स्क्वायर हो जाएगा और ये 0 हो जाएगा इस क्वाड्रर पोल मोमेंट की वैल्यू। तो वही बात यहाँ पे लिखी हुई है कि द क्वाड्रर पोल मोमेंट इज 0 if the charges are evenly placed about all three axes. Thus, the quadrupole pole moment for a spherically symmetric charge distribution is 0. Yani, if departure is not there, then there is no chance of quadrupole pole moment. Deviation from the spherical charge distribution nuclei creates the quadrupole pole effect. If Q is positive charge, nuclei are elongated in z direction, z-axis, while Q is negative, then nuclei is contracted along z-axis. The unit of quadrupole pole moment is Coulomb multiplied by bar. 1 bar is equal to 10 to the power minus 28 meter square. Quadrupole pole moment can be estimated by a variety of processes, which involves the interaction between the nucleus and the applied field or the field due to the atomic electrons. Field due to atomic electrons. All the nuclei are not spherical in shape. Some are prolate ellipsoid, while some are oblate ellipsoid. Prolate ellipsoid माने कि आप बाहर की तरफ उसे स्ट्रेच कर दीजिए तो जो एलिप्सॉइड बनेगा। एलिप्स और एलिप्सॉइड में अंतर इतनी ही है कि एलिप्सॉइड 3 डायमेंशनल पिक्चर है और एलिप्स 2 डायमेंशन है। तो यानी जैसे आपका सर्किल और स्फीयर है वैसे ये एलिप्स और एलिप्सॉइड है। प्रोलोइड माने एक किसी डायरेक्शन में बाहर की तरफ खींच लिया गया तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है उसका एक अंडाकार शेप हो जाएगा किसी एक डायरेक्शन में, और जब आप उसे दबा दीजिए तो ऊपर की तरफ वर्टिकली वो अंडे के शेप में आ जाएगा, या नहीं भी अगर ऊपर बढ़ेगा तो उसकी शेप एक तरफ से पिचक जाएगी तो वो एलिप्सॉइड के केस में उसे ऑब्लेट एलिप्सॉइड कहते हैं। द न्यूक्लियाई हैविंग द n number of neutron or z number of proton values 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82, 126 are spherical in shape. ये एक्चुअली ये भी निर्भर करता है कि इनके अंदर न्यूक्लियाई कितने हैं और उनकी संख्या के आधार पर भी ये ऑब्जर्वेशन लिया गया कि some are strictly spherical and some are deviated from spherical shape. Quadrupole pole moment mostly lie in the range of 10 to the power minus 26 to 10 to the power minus 23 centimeters square, which is of the order of the nuclear area. The nuclear size is of the order of 1.2 a to the power 1 by 3 into 10 raised to power minus 15 meter. So this was all about the today's lecture. Some more discussion we will have for the quadrupole pole moment related to the quantum mechanical treatment or quantum mechanical consideration of the departure of the nucleus from its spherical shape, and with the same in the same lecture we will have the additional content of the parity related to the nucleus. So parity and quantum mechanical discussion related to the quadrupole pole moment we will discuss tomorrow. So this is all about today. Let me have any problem or any discussion. If you have, then please let me know so that we can discuss. Otherwise, we should stop here.